Welcome to What's on the Bench, Episode 9. One step forward, two steps back. So first up, we got my 3D printed truggy build. And I got some housings underneath it now. And I think it's starting to actually kind of look like something. The E10, the axles are Everest 10 axles off of the white 4-door Jeep, and I'm happy with how it's looking. It's got the 4.7 Super Swamper, Proline Super Swampers on it, and some 3D printed wheels that I came up with a while back. Main issues I'm having right now is trying to figure out how I'm going to mount the body. The roll cage on the back kind of goes through a couple holes in the back of the cab and puts it about where it needs to be, but I don't have a way to mount it up front yet, and there's a little bit of flex, so I just think the cab is going to want to come off, and I don't know, maybe I could cut these off and mount the cab not to the cage but just to the chassis, and have the cage doing its own thing separate from the chassis. I'm not sure yet. Now, underneath the body, I've got a transmission mounted now. It's just a basic, I guess it's a Nitro Rustler transmission, and as one wise man once said, I've fabricobbled some motor mounts out of some aluminum that I had, and I just didn't want everything on this to be printed. I wanted to have a little bit of metal in there, and I was able to get it to where the motor is about pretty low. I think it's about as low as it needs to be. I still have to take the transmission apart, and it's going to have a differential inside of it because it was a rear end pretty much. So I'm going to have to lock that up somehow. Shouldn't be too hard to do. I think it'll work. And now we come to the two steps backwards. So this truck now has Gen 7 Pro housings on it, so no more rear steer. But the thing is, these axles are set up to have a cross pin on the drive shafts, and the ones that come with the vehicle come with the E10 transmission and E10 axles that went on to the YJ aren't set up for a cross pin. They're more of the set screw style. So I'm gonna have to figure something out, because I was having issues where the drive lines just kept on slipping and wouldn't engage. So I'm gonna have to address that. I do have some extra drive lines, and I'll probably have to drill the shafts in the transmission, but I think I'll be able to get it to work, hopefully. If not, I'll probably end up ruining the transmission and have to just buy a Gen 7 Pro transmission. And yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen, and I can get this thing back together, using what I got laying around. So what I'll do is I'll put these drive lines will have to go onto the truggy YJ, and then the drive lines I have here will go onto the Gen 7, and hopefully they will go onto the Gen 7. And I need to do a lot of little things to this. It's been sitting for a while, and it's like all the glue dried up, and there's a few things I might do differently on it. Kind of like a little bit of an update. But yeah, I mean, I tested it out a little bit, and it did okay. It did better in the rocks than in the dirt. As soon as it get in the dirt, it didn't really want to hook, but it has a little bit to do, I think, with the vehicle weight. But it does really good in the rocks, though, which I'm happy about. I don't know what else I have to say. Oh yeah, I went and redesigned the insides of the beadlocks that I had on the SAR's Jeep, and they're basically twice as thick now, and then the tabs that mount them to the other side of the rim are twice as tall, so I think they'll hold up a little bit better now. But I still haven't driven that one yet. Hopefully maybe today. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on this one, and then hopefully today after that, maybe if I get some driving in, I'll bring that one out and drive that one a little bit and see how it does. But yeah, that's about it. Want to thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next week.